I hope it is visible now.
Yes, ma'am, it is visible.
So, good afternoon, everyone. So, today's session, as rightly said by Upayagawal sir and the Dr. Parul as well, very clearly actually, explained and thought about things which I have been covering today. So, let me just brief you. This session, I will be discussing about, how to write the research paper, what are the specific components you should be looking for when you are working on a research paper, and how you are moving forward, what are the components of the research, different parameters that you need to follow. If you have to write a specific section, then what kind of language, even I'll give you a brief idea about that as well, and what are the specific components you should add in that. So that is an overall process which I will be taking you through. So this is the topics which I would be covering. That is research. What is exactly the research is? I know all of you must be knowing about it, so I will just be briefing you about it. What are the types of the research papers? There are different types of research papers actually which comes into play. So what kind of a research paper you are actually writing? So you should be able to differentiate. And what are the different types of research papers? And then finally, we would be discussing in detail the structure of the research paper. What is a pattern? What is a subheading? Heading maybe, which we are going to follow. So let's just start. So first, let's understand what a research is. See, we search, break this word, and try to understand. So you are searching about something one by one, again and again, and one by one. And you would be linking all of them together. You would be linking all of them together. So we say it is searching again and again. And you, as a researcher, as a scholar, as a faculty member, or maybe a student, your purpose is actually to understand what this search is all about. What is a topic which is trending? What is the area which needs more attention you need to concentrate on, or how you would be moving forward with that? So you will see what everybody else has seen, that is your literature review, what everyone else has done in your respective area, how they have moved the pound in your area. Fine. What is the present findings which are occurring right now? So present literature review, existing. Now, what is the new you are giving is what nobody else has thought. What nobody else has thought. That is the most important thing which you are going to do. That is your research gap. That is what you are going to find out from the existing late literature. That this is the part which has not been worked on till date, or it is the literature is very scant in that area. You want to explore it, move forward with it. Fine. So that is about the research. That is about the research. So always see, research is to see what everybody else has seen and to think what nobody else has thought. Fine. To have all these things, there has to be a set pattern which you should follow. Always understand that the set pattern is really, really important. And that pattern actually we say is the research cycle. That pattern we say is the research cycle. So, what is a research cycle all about? How you would be proceeding one by one, what is the things which you are doing it. So, that part we will discuss. And this we will discuss in detail as well. Concept, plan, how you are going to move forward. What is a concept? What is the niche area you are working on? Right? Or you would like to work on? A specific topic, a unique concept, maybe, a unique problem for which you want to find the solution, maybe. Fine. Or the other thing, which is planning. Planning is really, really important, how you are going to move forward with the research, how you would be working on the research, what are the things you would be looking for. So everything has to be planned. Do not take it, overnight you think of that you are going to write a research paper, and then, in the morning you say, okay, let me just start collecting the data. No, please plan each and everything very, very carefully. It is really, really important. Plan it carefully. Then explore what everyone has done, what all the researchers are doing in the present scenario. Fine. What they are doing, what they have done, what are their findings. Explore the scenario. Many people actually do not explore the things. They just thought of, I want to work in this area, and they start doing it without understanding what is the existing literature telling them, what is the direction. This maybe that area in which you decided has already been worked upon so much. Fine. So too many of things are already available. So what is the new thing you are giving? So this only you will come to know when you will explore the things. Fine. Once these two things, really important things are covered, then only you move forward with the data collection and the analysis part. So do not jump to directly making your questionnaire or going to the databases to collect the data. First, understand what kind of a data you require, what kind of a study you are doing. First, understand all these things and then move forward with the collection and the analysis part. Once the collection is done, you have done the analysis by running into all the fancy softwares, we have, or we say, the good part is that these softwares have made our life very, very easy actually. So once you have done that, now finally organize everything in a proper, better, organized manner. Give a proper heading, subheading, write it properly in a very formal language. This completes your research paper. Once this is done, do not keep it into your laptop only. Recheck it, review it, and then finally send your paper for the publication. Send your paper for the publication. Now, many people think that, my paper is published. It is in the SSCI or it is in the Scopus. Great. I have done a great job. I have done a great job. Fine. Now, my work is done. I will relax. Not at all. Because there is one very important thing: promoting your research. Promoting your research. It is very, very much important that you should promote your research. So, how you are going to promote it? There are various ways to promote your research. So, do not stop once your do not stop once your paper is done, publication is done. Work on making your paper visible to the public. Work on making your paper visible to the public, because then only they will come to know that this kind of a study is there. Fine. And also promotion helps you in getting more citations. Fine. Appearances, that is very good thing to do. So let's discuss all these things in detail. So that is an overview I wanted to give you. And now my best part, I always say to people that if you work upon the three pillars which I'm going to tell you right now, you will definitely going to end up having a great research paper and good publication as well. So these actually things let you stand out from the crowd. The first and the foremost thing in this is the research question, the planning about your research, and the collaborations. See, I don't say that there are other things also that that are important. There are other things which are important, but these three are the most important, and they cover almost everything about your paper. So research question, we say it is a very much important thing, because if you do not ask a question, that means you haven't understood what the literature is already telling you. You didn't understood that. So what is the point? When you didn't understood what the people have done already, and you are doing the same thing, repeating the same thing, then how can you expect that the journal will be accepting your paper? Not at all. So you need to stand out from the crowd. So find out that something, that specific gap. Try to question it. Why that study has not been done right now? Why the specific research gap exists? If the relationship is like that, why it is like that? So questioning is really, really, really important. And you know, if you ask the right question, you are actually solving majority of your problem in writing a research paper. Because right question makes a great deal. It makes a great. And planning your research, as I said earlier, also planning your research is really, really important. You should very clearly plan how you are going to move forward. What is a new thing you are adding to the literature? Are you giving any solution to a problem? Does the results which you are presenting actually are they robust, presented in a very critical manner so that anybody can read them and understand them and may be able to replicate them? So if you write it very clearly, very objectively, then anybody can replicate them. It is very easy to do it. Then the next part is collaboration. See, collaboration, it is great. People write individual papers also, that is also fine, not at all. There are great people write the individual papers also. But when you collaborate with the people, so your work in the research paper gets divided, which helps in giving the undivided attention to the specific topic. So let's suppose I'm doing the paper with maybe two more people, right? So I segregated my part. You know, I would be working on the results. So please, other person may be working on the literature review. Other may be working on, putting the discussion together, cohesiving, totally connecting all the paper together, or maybe working on the theoretical developments. So in this way, the paper process also speeds up. The person, you will have the collaboration, you will have brainstorming ideas. So three people actually would be talking about the same thing but generating new kind of ideas. So you will have a good research. You will have a good research. So we say that when the research question is there, you are able to get a right question. Then we say almost 50% of your work in the research done. Is done because right question can help you in getting it everywhere, or if I say in getting at a great place in your research. If you will make a paper which is publishable, which is critically done, it is original, providing a great content, then 35% of the work is done. And finally comes this the collaboration part. This will say once we have done the collaboration, it will give your content a boost, your efficiency increases obviously, and once your paper is published, you know, three-person, maybe I am from, you know, different place, I am from different maybe country, the other person may be from different country, or maybe a different place in the same country, different institutes. So we would be actually promoting our research in the three directions, because all three authors would be promoting at their places. So your research is getting more reach. So better reach with respect to your research paper. So you should actually focus on this. I will discuss about the first two collaboration. All of us know that actually. So the first and the most important is the research question, which many people actually forgot to include that. And in the research question, I always quote Albert Einstein. He's great with respect to the questions if I talk about. So the most important thing is you should never stop questioning. Because you know there is a very famous saying, millions saw the apple fall. Only one person asked the question why. And rest is history. So only Newton asked that question. Many people saw it. The apples are falling from the tree. But nobody bothered to ask it. Nobody bothered to question it. So that is the power of the question, you know. So if you put a right question forward, your research is going to be in the great direction. Again, I would like to put forward again the importance of the research question by quoting the Albert Einstein again. That if you have, you know, 60 minutes or we say an hour to solve a specific problem, then devote your first 55 minutes on understanding or finding out the right question that needs to be answered. Because once you arrive at the right question, the solution comes in the next 5 minutes. I'm not talking about practicing that solution, I'm talking about coming to that solution. Fine. So that is why this Albert Einstein quote holds the key importance of the research question. And once you put across such a great question in your research paper, address a question in your research paper, then you will see your paper will never get rejected. Because see, editors actually try to find out the main thing, and the first thing is they want to look for what is the unique thing you are giving, what your which research question your research paper is addressing, which is already not existing. So what is a different concept you are doing, and this different concept starts from addressing a research question. So always when you are working on the research question, always take the stairs. Do not take the escalators. Take the stairs, one step, one by one. So always, start with identifying the problem area. Identify which area needs, more emphasis, more explanation. Then work on the importance. Why that specific area is important. Fine, understand that, because that will help you in understanding, what existing studies will be have already studied it, have already organized it, what they found out, what they left, what is left unanswered, is left unanswered. What is a new contribution I can give? A unique area. Try to shortlist a unique area, and how you are going to explore that unique area. That is again how you are going to explore it, how you are going to evaluate it. And then finally, we come at to development of the hypothesis. So understand, hypothesis development doesn't come before the research questions or before understanding, what is a unique concept you are addressing. It always comes later. Fine. So what we are doing is, first we will be addressing our unique area, how we arrive that unique area, how we are going to move forward with that unique area, and then we want to hypothesize it and test it with the help of the research methodology tools which are available to us. That is a research question. Second component, the planning your research. Because if the planning is good, then you can actually say it is publishable. So, in what cases can I say it is not actually publishable, it is not ready? Then it is the outdated content. Weak literature. Literature is not, you have not used the relevant literature, you have not covered all the things. So, then, or it is a plagiarized work. So, it is a typical no, no. It is a typical no, no. Fine. So it is a plagiarized work. You have worked on the outdated things. The things have already been long gone, and you are trying to put it forward in the new scenario. No, no, no. Your research paper is not at all ready to be published. So to make it more in a publishable form, you should focus on providing the original content, not the plagiarized one. Look for how the research is enriching the literature, giving new improvements, new directions, and your own work. Do not focus on the plagiarized one. Do not go for the plagiarism. It is an offense. So try to address the latest developments, latest trends in the specific area. So in that case, we can say your paper is actually ready to be published. So here again, ask few questions to understand yourself whether your research paper is actually ready to be published. See, do not be in that aura, I have written the paper, it cannot go wrong, it will be the great paper. No, 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 a big no, no. I have published many papers, but still at this time I get rejections as well. I get acceptance in the SSCI journal as well, but I got the rejection in many big journals as well. So please critically assess your paper. Please do not be in the aura that you cannot go wrong or you missed out anything. No, no, no. Please, please always understand that. Fine. So always ask the questions. What is a new perspective you are giving? Have you covered all the related areas? Have you provided something unique to the literature, existing body of knowledge? Is your topic trending? See, I'm asking you the questions, and these are the questions you should ask when you write your research paper. Is it a hot topic like people are doing the studies on the COVID? So it is a trending topic. People are doing the studies on the online education. It is a trending topic. Fine. Everybody wants to understand the student perspective, the teacher perspective of the online education. Everybody wants to understand, how the people are coping up during the COVID. What are their mental health conditions? How monetary implications people are facing? How the shopkeepers are reacting to the lockdowns and all. So is it trending? Are you providing any solution? Means, is your research helping you solve a specific problem? Which can help your paper publish in a better manner. You are giving us some solution, maybe. Maybe you are providing a new kind of mask. Fine for the people. You are providing, giving different kind of mask. That's innovation, a new thing which you are adding. And finally, the methodology which you have used, is it nowhere? Can it be implicated again? Can it be researched again? Are the results robust? Anybody can replicate it, move forward with it, or research it. Research it. Always remember that. Researched it. Fine. So these are the questions you should definitely ask when you are moving forward with your research paper writing. So with this, I finished the first section, which is the basics of the research. Now moving toward the second part, which is the types of the research papers. So broadly, there are four types of research papers we see: empirical papers, review papers, theoretical papers, book reviews, and editorials. Fine. So let's understand them one by one briefly. So empirical papers are like our glass figures actually. So their main focus is on the methodology. Empirical, their main focus is on the methodology part. Fine. So you work on what is the existing thing which is there, how it has been attached with the theory, what are the statistical tests which you can apply to test the hypothesis. So empirical papers will have the hypothesis because you are going to present the results, you are going to test the assumptions. So it is experiment, studying, fine. Empirical, we say the word is analytical studies we put forward. So you will be having the subjects, you will be having the population, sample companies. So lot many things are actually there when we are talking about the empirical work. Fine. So there are various methodologies which are followed when you are writing an empirical paper. It may be the interview based, questionnaire, secondary data, from the databases, survey items. Lot many things can come on when we are writing the empirical. But always understand, empirical paper will going to have the hypothesis which you are testing. Second one comes with respect to the review papers. Now, these review papers actually combine everything which is already being there with respect to the specific topic. With respect to the specific topic. So they critically review what the existing researcher have done. So they critically review it. Find systematic reviews if you have heard of, meta-analysis you have heard of. So these are the things which are actually collating the literature in a specific area and then finally moving forward, putting together the review and giving the conclusion qualitatively that these are the studies which have talked about this area and this is a major finding of those on the basis of the studies. Fine. So giving up, identifying the comparison part, contrasting the findings. A researcher has said so and so, B researcher said so and so. They contradict in their opinions. Fine. A found the positive relationship, B found the negative relationship. There may be a C who didn't found the relationship at all. So critically analyzing the studies. Critically analyzing the studies. So review papers kind of provide the base for your empirical papers because they are telling you the extent of the literature, extent of the theories which have already been taken place, And one important thing, review papers are the great tools for identifying the research gaps. So once you are able to identify the research gap, you are able to clearly move forward with the research questions, hypotheses, assumptions, and all. You can move forward with that. So review papers are the great way. They are the base actually. Then comes as theoretical articles. Theoretical articles, as the name suggests, theory. So they will only be focused on building a theory. Fine. They are not empirical. No statistical testing is there. Their main focus is to build a theory. Fine. So maybe you are building a theory with respect to the mental health. Maybe you are building a theory with respect to demonetization, or maybe the financial economics or behavioral theories we have. There are so many theories, pricing theory, marketing theory, promotion theories. So these papers actually focus on building the theoretical backgrounds of your paper. So theoretical articles provide you the theoretical background. Review papers provides you with the how those theories have been used in the different research papers. They'll give you a glimpse, which will help you in understanding the research gaps. And with both of these two things, theoretical and review, you finally comes to the empirical papers, which help you in testing. Fine. So empirical papers will definitely cover and take the advantage, take the background from the theoretical as well as the review papers. Obviously, empirical papers as well, but these two are actually the base of your running an empirical study because they will only tell you that what is the research gap which needs to be explored. Then last comes is with respect to the book reviews and the editorials. So they are actually not scholarly. They are written by, many people can write it. Maybe the scholars, teachers, everybody write it. So they are not considered as the research papers, but they help you, in identifying some researches which are relevant to your research. Fine. So usually people write a book reviews to critically assess it, to make other people understand that, in just what this book is actually talking about. And from that gist, you will be able to understand whether that will be good for you to include in the present paper or not. Editorials usually come, in the journals. So before a specific journal issue, there is an editorial which actually talks about, what kind of information is in this special issue or in this issue of a journal, that this set of papers have been there which are accepted in the journals. They are talking about that specific management perspective or that specific financial perspective. So they are giving, summarizing actually the articles which are there in the journal. But with the journal, I mean that specific issue because editorial comes into issue by issue. Fine. So if the journal has one issue, another issue is coming up, another editorial is there. So editors write their viewpoint. It is with the journal editors write their viewpoint. So these are your four types of the research papers. Four types of research papers, or we say four types of base writings you can do. Now, the final part and the most important part is structure of the research paper. What is the structure of a research paper? What are the components in each of the sections which you should work on? Let's start with the overview first. What is the structure? So, with this structure, I would say the first we start always with respect to the title. What is going to be the title of your paper? See, there are various sections: title, abstract, keywords, highlights, and these we will be going to discuss in the coming slides with great detail. So when we are talking about the title, so we say the title should be short, specific, brief, clear, descriptive. Always remember, do not make a very long title. It becomes very difficult for the people to comprehend. Even journals do not go for, too lengthy titles. They do not go for lengthy titles. So it is always advisable that limit your titles. Fine. So make it short. You can use words like simulation of, comparison, assessment, development, understanding, impact of, or a study of, or an investigation of, as whatever thing. These are some of the examples which have been there. So you can use any kind of. And please remember, when you are writing a research paper, so understand title is the first thing. Title and the extract are the first thing which anyone notices because they are actually your searching tools. They are actually your searching tools. Fine. So when you put any keyword with respect to in the Google or maybe in the web of sign, so keywords are actually within the title, within the abstracts, and the keywords itself. Fine. So the first thing which comes about a paper is title and the abstract. So if a person likes your abstract and your title, then only he's going to read your research paper if it interests. So it is very much important. So if you talk about a movie, so movie trailer comes first. So if I like the trailer, then only I go on watching a movie. So these are actually your trailers. They're actually your trailers. So we say these four components are your trailers. So you should focus on them. Title you have understood. Let me first tell you about the keywords. Keywords, usually 4 to 5 keywords depending upon the journal. Many journals ask you for more than 5 keywords as well, but majority of the times it is 4 to 5 keywords. Keywords help in searching about your paper. But please understand, whatever words are in the title, do not include them into the keywords. Whatever these words are in the title, do not include them because title itself is a keyword. Fine. So automatically it will be detected. So do not include the words which are there in the title. Give the words separately from them. For example, in the title you have written online education. Fine. So in the keyword, maybe you can write, e-learning. Use the synonym. Do not use again the online education. Use the synonym. In the title, maybe you have used the word India, that your study respects to India. Fine. Then in the keyword, do not use the word India. Fine. Or if you have not mentioned India in your title, then mention it in the keyword. That this specific study actually talks about the Indian scenario. So then put it in the keyword. So always understand that. Now then comes is the another important one, which relates to actually your which relates to your abstract. See, abstract is really so it can be structured, it can be unstructured. If time permits, I will show you the examples as well. See, structure we say it has a specific subheading: background, objective, methodology, findings, interpretations, maybe, or here you can have the implications. Fine. This is the structure abstract, and many journals have now shifted from the unstructured abstract to the structured abstracts. Usually, the word count ranges from 200 to 300 words, not more than that. And what the abstract is doing, it is actually summarizing. So this is actually the summary of your whole paper and nothing else. So you are summarizing your paper, and to your surprise, in your research paper, you actually summarize your paper many times. Fine, see, I'll tell you. First, abstract, highlights, summary. These are the things which I'm telling you where you're summarizing your paper. Introduction, conclusion. So 4 times actually you are summarizing your paper, but every time in a different perspective. Every time in a different perspective. So if I talk about the first one, which is the abstract, we are summarizing the key things in our paper in very straightforward lines, very simple lines. Fine, because you have a limit of 200 to 300 words. Again, depending upon the journal requirements, but the majority of the journals have this much limit. But even you will find, some Springer journals even having the limit of 150 words as well. So this is a very, very, very small words count which is there in the abstract. So you have to be very, very precise to put forward your point. So this we say when you are doing in bifurcation, this is a structured abstract. When it is written in a normal paragraph form, so then it is an unstructured format. No headings, content will be the same, but without the subheadings. So it is an unstructured abstract. If journal has no specific requirement, however, it is not possible, prefer going for the structured abstract. Prefer going for the structured abstract because that is more better. That is better, objective, gives a clear viewpoint about a researcher as well and the research paper. Then comes his highlights. Highlight is not asked by many journals. Usually, if you go for Web of Science journals or not Web of Science, if I talk about Springer journals, fine, and some of the Elsevier journals as well, they actually ask for the highlights. So it is what short collection of the major findings of your research. Short collection of the major findings, bullet points. It is never in the paragraph. It is the bullet points, and it is about the finding or the major prominent contribution of your research paper. Fine. 3 to 5 bullet points and approximately 80 to 85 characters per line. So it is not a very long bullet point. It is a very simple bullet point. So you are just summarizing actually what is the most prominent thing in this research paper. So it may be the implication, it may be the finding, it may be the new research gap, So anything, but not more than 3 to 5 bullet points, which should be there. So it is good. Many people are actually going for this because it actually gives the textual overview of the research paper. That these are the major findings of the research paper. This is about the starting part. Fine. In every paper, these three are always compulsory. This is optional or depending upon the journal criteria. Now, let's talk about the overall part of the research paper, the main segment of the research paper. Let's talk about that. Starting with the introduction. Introduction is actually the first thing the editor will read. Editor never reads the results first, they go for the introduction. So it has to be very nicely built, like a story, very clearly defined. So, what all things you should cover in that? Background. Give the background why this study has been done. What is the problem you are going to address? So, overall, define it. Purpose. What is the purpose of writing this research, or what is the purpose of conducting this research? The significance of moving forward with the present, research. Is it new? Is it original? Are you giving anything important or differentiating from the previous studies? What kind of methodology you would be using here? Fine. How you have proceed forward, and what are your major findings? See, again, what I'm doing is I am summarizing. I will not be able to write about this unless and until I have performed my analysis. So people say we write introduction first. No, introduction is actually written in the end. Introduction is actually written in the end. In the beginning, you will only have the notes, or we say the bullet points that I have worked upon this area, why I have worked upon this area, why the study is chosen, what are the basic research gaps I am working on, this is a research question. So these are all the basic things which you will put it forward as the notes with you, so that you can go for the methods, you can go for the analysis. Once the analysis is done, then you will come back. You have done the analysis, you have written the results, you have done everything. Then you will come back to writing or giving a final finishing touch to your introduction. Final finishing touch to your introduction. Always remember to define who your audience are. Many research papers we actually do not see, this research belongs to what kind of the audience. Is it suitable? You are doing an research paper on the online education. So is it for the teachers, or it is for the students? Or it is for the other stakeholders, maybe the institutions, the university, the corporate houses, anyone. Fine. So define it very clearly. And in the last section or the last paragraph, always define how your paper is organized. The section 2 talks about the literature review, followed by the research methodology. Then we are talking about the results of the structure equation modeling. Fine. Like that, define it. How your paper is structured. How your paper is structured. Then comes the literature. which is very much important. Many people actually face difficulties in doing the literature review. And if I say now the literature review is called by many names, you put it forward as a theoretical background. Many people put it as a theoretical background. Many people write it as review of the existing studies. Fine. So many people put forward like that. So it depends upon, what are the requirements of the journal which you are following. Always remember that. Now there is another question which people ask me at this point, shall I select the journal first and then move forward with the paper writing? The best answer is yes. Yes, you should. When you have shortlisted your niche area on which you are working, you shortlisted a research gap, you framed your research question, everything when you have decided, you have framed the research question as well. So before going to the writing phase, actually, this is everything which you are in the form of the notes. So once you have created the notes that you know what kind of research you are doing, are you doing an empirical study or you are doing a literature review? Right. If you are doing the empirical study, that in the empirical, what kind of a study I am doing? Am I doing the meta-analysis study? This is also an empirical study, but in qualitative nature. Or I am doing a proper statistical research. If I'm doing a proper statistical research, so what is my research gap? What are my research questions? What is the hypothesis I'm going to testing? And also the theoretical background. So you will make that I will use the theory of the reasoned behavior, or I will use the theory of the mental health, or Maslow hierarchy theory. My paper is dependent upon, or my paper is based upon the Maslow hierarchy theory. So you give the theoretical background. On the basis of theoretical background, you did your literature, that what all people have already been done. Then you defined your research gap, research questions. You framed your hypothesis. These are all the notes. I am not writing right now anything. These are all my notes from the studies which I have taken, understood. Fine. Now, once I reach this point, you are very clear now what has to be done. You are now starting with your writing phase. Look for the journals. Look for the journals which I'll help you in start doing your research paper, start writing your research paper from that perspective. That what kind of writing styles they expect, what kind of referencing styles they expect, what is their audience, does their audience matches with your research paper audience? So find the best fit, find the best fit. Fine. So always look for the journals which fit your criteria. That yes, look for the papers which are already published in that journal. Fine. Go through them, how they have written, what kind of headings, subheadings they have used. Go through them very carefully. See the language they have used, what kind of an abstract, because it will give you a very good idea what the journal editors are expecting from. Fine. So, my suggestion, please go for selecting the journal first. And many people say, I am actually in between the writing of the paper. What should I do? No problem, go and select it. Just that now you have to do more laborious work because you have already written something with a specific direction. So if the journal direction doesn't matches with your direction, then you have to change it. Then you have to change it. So that is the thing. You have to be, when you are doing a selection later on, then you have to work hard more. Fine. So literature review. So there are four components if I talk about, or I have divided with respect to how you should write it. So always start giving the background of the research, why this research paper is we're doing, how you are extending the present work, give the overview, and also mention what are the most prominent existing literatures in that area in the beginning itself. That is building your story. Then I always say to the people, try to put your research in a tabular form. Fine. You may not be presenting it into your research paper, fine, but this will help you. Start with, giving the serial number. Now, what I mean by serial number is that when you download the paper, fine, you put it into the Mendeley maybe, or you put it into your simple desktop only. So, number those papers so that it will be easy for you to relocate, and then make one Excel file put lot many things in that Excel file. How? What are the things you should put? Serial number. This is serial number 1. The research paper. This paper is written by, let's suppose, Kumar et al. 2021. So I have given this paper name. The file name of the paper is 1. So in my folder, there will be, let's suppose, 20 papers. So all will be numbered serially 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now I have a reference table, which is this Excel file. Here I will write the author. If you want the year separately, you can write the year separately, or you can combine it with the author as well. Then maybe the topic, if it is relevant, otherwise it is optional. Otherwise the topic is optional. But yes, objective is important. This is optional. This is also optional. This is important. What is the objective? And please do not write the paragraph, just the brief. Just the brief. 1 point. What is the objective? If there are different objectives, use 2-3 points. But very briefly, that some paper analyze the impact of gold on, let's suppose, the stock market. Fine. Or, cryptocurrencies, anything. So just brief. Relationship between gold and stock market. Relationship between Bitcoin and Ethereum. Simple. Simple. Then, methodology that paper has followed. Fine. Methodology. In the methodology, if you have any consideration with respect to the country, so you can put a country here or make a separate tab for the country. Like many people do cross-sectional studies, or many people say, in my country, this kind of a study has not been done. This is the first time it is being conducted. It is not being conducted. Like demonetization. When demonetization came in 2015, India doesn't have a record for that. India doesn't have those studies related with that. So studies related to the outside India. So here the importance you can very clearly justify. See, these are the studies which are existing in the US, UK, or maybe the Philippines, but it is not existing in the Indian context. So it will help you making the comparison as well. Do write the time period or the sample time period which the paper has taken. Methodology, any statistics, what kind of statistics that paper has followed, structure, equation, modeling, regression, ANOVA, what kind of testing the research paper has done. Because once you have this table ready, see, it's a laborious task, it takes time. But once it is done, it is your treasure for lifetime. Fine. Because anytime you come across a new paper in your specific area, you can keep on adding this, list, and you can make another research paper with all the reviews together. So you can easily review, how the literature developed in this specific area. So it becomes very easy, very handy, and this will make your life easy while writing a literature review. And finally, we write what are the results of the research paper, what they found out, and the most important thing is the research gap. Not necessary that with respect to every paper. So, this belongs to one paper, the next line belongs to next paper, third row belongs to next paper. I'm not saying that you put research gap in every paper. No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying it is quite a possibility that, out of these 3 research papers, you may come across one major research gap. So put it there. Put it there. Fine. And it is very easy to find out the research paper in many of the papers. There is one section, future scope of research and the discussions. These 2 headings in the research paper gives you the direction, because if there is a future scope of research, that means that is a research gap which is not being explored. So put it here itself. You do not have to revisit the research paper again. So this is how you can make your literature review, make a table, and then start writing your literature review in detail. Fine. So try to practice it. It is a good thing, especially for the people who are doing their PhD. This is a very nice tool. I personally did it when I was in my PhD. I personally made a list of the research papers, many research papers. And I also try to add to it. So try possible. If possible, try. Give it a try. It is a very nice thing. Then the next important things comes into the literature review is originality. You should very clearly define what are the research gaps, because this is really, really important. What is a new contribution your paper is doing, originality of your work, how it differs, and how to organize a literature review, that is also important. There are various ways of organizing the literature review. Fine. Many people do it chronologically. However, if you go for good journals, this is not the accepted methodology. You should not do it chronologically. It is always advisable go for either, if your paper is too methodological perspective, maybe you are proving that my specific method is a great method from the previous ones, then arrange your research, previous literature, methodology perspective. This set of studies have worked on SEM. This set of studies worked on regression. Now, how you are contributing, that part comes. So you start from the broader perspective, coming to the narrow one. Then the most important we say is the finding perspective. Club the theories, club the literatures which have the similar findings, then moving towards another set of studies which have the similar findings. Because in that ways, it is very clear view the opinion of the people, how the study has been developed, and what is a new you are adding. Automatically, it will be addressed. So this is the most preferred methodology which people are using, the finding perspective. Or let's suppose you are working with respect to different variables, then we say on the construct basis or variable basis, that you club these studies which talked about one specific variable, then different study which talked about one specific variable. So divide your literature in that perspective, but please do not go it chronologically. Do not do it chronologically. So this is how the structure of the literature review looks like. We start with the broader perspective, giving the overview of what is existing. Then we narrow down to the categories in which we are dealing, find the relationships or maybe the variables. So we narrow it down, bringing it closer to my present study, and then finally telling that, this is the most important one which is there, and how I would be addressing a new perspective, how I would be adding a new, point of view to this existing literature. So you are actually narrowing down in a funnel. Always work in that perspective. Fine. And one more important thing is, many people get confused actually. So verb tense actually depends upon the formattings being used, the way you are incorporating the literature. So it can be present at some places, it can be past, it can be present perfect as well. So I have time, let me give you a few examples as well. So if I talk about the how you write it in the present form, so we say when you are giving an introduction about your chapter, introduction about your chapter. Fine. So in the beginning, when you're giving summarizing something, so it always say presents, provides. The results from the first set of are reported. So it is in the present form. You are describing that this is what you are going to read it in the coming chapter or in the coming section. Fine. So in the starting, you are summarizing what you are going to study. So it is present. Fine. When you are talking about a journally accepted, this what we say, it is a accepted thing, or we say it is a fact. So when we are working, I'm sorry, when we are working on the facts, then always remember there are, because this is a fact. Something is existing. You cannot say it was. Now it has changed. No, it is a fact. It is a fact. So facts are always there. They will always be the present. Fine. The finite coefficients have an effect on the heat transfer through the horizontal porous layer. So this is a fact. Whatever is fact is always presented in the present form in the literature. Then what other things are presented in the present form? So when you are doing the current research work, when you are reviewing the current research work, immediate research work, which is very, very relevant to your research. So concluded, no, not concluded, concludes, fine, has a significant effect. When you are commenting, explaining, fine, which you are doing right now with respect to the previous studies. So you will be doing in the present manner. The result is fine. Now see, is impractical in the real world where the projects are typically large. Now see the next one. The result of this anomalous result is that the results were done. They happened, but I am commenting on them right now. So it is present. I am commenting on them right now. So it is present. Now past everybody know that whatever is done in the past, it has been conducted, researched. So it is past. Showed that, was slowed, found that. So it is past. So you are reporting the previous findings and the conclusions of the past researchers. So it is past tense. Present perfect. See, I'm giving you the brief example so that you will be able to understand how these things relate. So here, citation actually matters. So when the citations, the focus is on the research area of several authors together. So here, several studies have provided these support. Now, how I'm defining the studies? Here are my studies. I have added so many authors together. There's so many authors talked about this specific finding. Joint roughness has been characterized by the number of authors. So here. So always remember when the focus is on too many authors, it is the present perfect. It is the present perfect. When you are generalizing, when you are using a generalized statement, there is dearth of study, there is limited number of study. So in that case, again we say present perfect. Many studies have been, few researchers have examined. There has been extensive literature into a specific area. So present perfect. This is about the literature review section. Now the next section, which is methodology. Again, many journals use the words methods. Many use methods and materials. Again, depending upon the journal to journal. But the content remains almost similar. First, always define what kind of variables you are using in the study. Any key terms, anything, any symbols, define them very clearly in the beginning of the methodology only. Then move towards what is your research design? Is it qualitative study or quantitative study? From where you are collecting the data? Fine. What are the sources of the data collection? How you arrived at particular sample size? Fine. Which all techniques you will be using? You will be using parametric testing, non-parametric testing. Within parametric testing, what kind of statistical techniques you will be using? Why that specific technique you are using? Fine. Because that is a very important question many a times editor asks. That why the specific methodology? Like a simple question many a times many people ask me that why you have used structure equation modeling and not the regression. So define it very clearly there that this is that specific reason, that is why I have not used the regression, I have used the structure equation modeling. How did you do it? The process of conducting everything. So let's suppose it is a questionnaire study. How did you finalize the final set of questionnaire? How did you finalize the number of questionnaires you are going to study forward? Fine. What is the process? First, you will be testing the normality, then you will be going for the pilot testing, then you will be going for the confirmatory test. What is the process? Presented here very clearly. See, the clear methodology is, it will be more interesting to the other people to read and replicate. So try to make your methodology clear. Then comes the robustness. Are people able to replicate your results? Fine. You have done it with the proper assumptions. You have explained the results very clearly and briefly. Clearly and briefly. I will tell you why I am saying this word briefly in the next slide. So you should very clear. And the most important one, the limitations. What are the limitations of your present research? And please try to mention it in a constructive manner. For example, the people who are doing the study in this COVID scenario since last year, many of you are doing the primary research. So you cannot go to the market personally to collect the data, to give the questionnaire to the people and fill it. No. Either you have used the email perspective or your friends, you have forwarded the questionnaire to your friends, put it on the WhatsApp or LinkedIn or anywhere. So you collected the data. So this is a limitation. That the data has been collected with the help of social media platforms or the friends profiling. Fine. So we have not been able to use, the sampling, proper sampling technique. Maybe I will be using the non-probability, not the probability. I will be using the non-probability sampling technique, maybe the snowball sampling. Fine. So why? Because the COVID scenario is going on, so the questionnaire has been collected in such a manner. The sample size has been collected from such a manner. Fine. Or sample size, you have limited your sample size from 2009 to 2012. Why 2009? Why not 2000? Because the data with respect to that specific index starts from 2009 only. So please very constructively give your limitations. Fine. This is the methodology. Again, the way to write the methodology, what you have done, what you did, simple past or passive voice. You added, was added. Fine. So you have already conducted the experiment. You have already done something. So you are now writing it. So it is past or the passive voice. When you are explaining about your diagrams, figures and tables, so table presents that. Figure 1 shows that. Table presents that. Figure 1 shows that. Table 3 highlights that. Fine. This is the way you should use the words and the English language. Result section. Coming to the near part of ending my presentation. So, result section. Now in the results, there's a very important thing which you should all remember. Objectivity, which many people actually forget. They think that result sections are the biggest section of a research paper. It is a big no. They are not the biggest section of your research paper actually. They are the simplest and the smallest section if I talk about. Why? Because here you have to simply write what you found. What you found. What this table is saying. Only describe. Only describe. Do not detail it. Only describe it. Table 1 shows that there is no significant relationship between X and Y. Story finishes. Do not give me the reason why there is no specific significant relationship. Do not give me ifs and buts, because that is not the part of the result section. So only findings to be written. What you found out after conducting the experiment. What you found out. So only findings, evidence based. Keep it very concise, presented in the logical manner. Presented in the logical manner. So if you are doing a study on the financial markets, so first start with, have you checked the stationarity of the variables? Have you checked the gaps in the data? Then you move towards the first section, regression maybe. Then you move towards the mediation maybe, or the process which you are following. So keep it in a proper logical manner. Keep it in a proper logical manner. So just very clearly tell me that whether the specific hypothesis is accepted or rejected. Do not give me any reasoning that why specific hypothesis is rejected, why specific hypothesis is failed to be rejected. Just tell me what is the result. Because all the explanation of why actually comes in the discussion. So don't explain, just tell me. Just describe, don't explain at all. Fine. So data showed that. Then when you are talking about the discussions, results suggested that the customer satisfaction plays a significant role in this. Now here I can give the same is being suggested by Kumar et al. 2021. Fine. They concluded that there is a direct relationship. This relationship is because of the objectivity in the market. This relationship is because of the presence of the brand priority or brand awareness. This comes into the next section, which is the discussion. Result, the story ends here. The story ends here. And we will not explain it further. Now the discussion section. Here all your explanations come. And this is really important section. This is really important section. Always understand that. Fine, because the discussions actually tells you your contribution with respect to your analysis in the existing literature. Fine. So you will be interpreting your results in a more objective manner, critical manner. Why specific thing is rejected, why another thing is not rejected, how it has been conducted, what are the existing studies which complement your results. Fine. Your results may contradict something, theories, or they can go with the other theories. So why they are contradicting? The reason may be that study is being conducted in the USA, my study is being conducted in India. So in Indian perspective, this kind of human resource practice is not existing. So that is why, I have a negative relationship in this specific X and Y relationship. So here you will give me the reasons. Here you will tell me the whole story actually. Here you will tell me the whole story. Fine. So you critically review the work with respect to the existing literature. And then give me what are the policy implications. Many people put it into the discussions only, depending again upon the journals, or many people actually put it as a separate heading. So it depends upon the journal requirement. So, what are the implications of my research for the policymaker? Maybe my research is for the students. So, what is an implication for a student, for a society, for a teacher, for a manager? It is really important that you should put this forward. This is really important. Now, the last part comes is the conclusions. What to write? Again, if you remember, this is the summary of your paper. Just this summary is now in 800 words. What you did, how you started, what was your objective actually, how you collected the data, how you processed the data, what are the techniques you analyzed, and what are your findings, the major findings. Fine, so you will position your work in a larger perspective. You also give the future perspective. Again, this can be put it as a separate heading or it can be clubbed with the conclusions. So you brief and summarize your research paper. Brief and summarize your research paper. Again, to give you more understanding about the conclusion, so it will be based on your finding discussions and each objective wise findings. So if you have 2-3 objectives, so put it in a constructive manner into the conclusion. Make a cohesive link between those three because this is the research paper. In terms of the implications, tell what is the implication, practical implication. What is the theoretical implication for maybe the academic people? Right. For the managers, how they can apply your research. See, I am not saying that in every research paper there's an implication for academician, for policymaker, for manager. No. Who are your audience? Who you defined it, in the beginning. You will give the implication for them. That what is the implication of your research to them? Why this research is important for them? Fine. So present it in that manner. So clarify that your statements still hold true when you are clarifying it. So use a present perfect. Results from this study have led to a deeper understanding. Fine. So present perfect. Apply the findings. How these are applied. State implications. How you suggest. Fine. Present. Future research. Further, how they can take this research forward. So we conclude that. Fine. So this is how you finally put forward the last section of your paper. And if you have a future research, I have also added few points, are needed, will be, should be. So it is present or the future perspective. Researchers can conduct. Researchers, should conduct. There should be study. Fine. These studies will be conducted with respect to that perspective. So, future research. Acknowledgement. If any person has helped you in the research, not directly that you cannot name that person as an author, but maybe you have taken a suggestion, or maybe you are helped, or maybe that person has reviewed your paper. So give the acknowledgement. It feels great. Fine, give the acknowledgement to the person. Let them know that you valued them actually. Or if you are doing a study with some, funding agencies, so mention their name, that this study is being sponsored by ICSSR or maybe your own institute. So give the due benefit to them. Fine. References, always they are journal specific. Always they are journal specific. Follow the guidelines which are given by the journal. Fine. So that from the starting onwards, you use that specific referencing style, because citation also comes into that specific style. Either they are using MLA, they are using APA, so whatever. You can use the various reference manager softwares, Mendeley, Zotero, one EndNote is there, or even the MS Word as well. So use it. Do not write it manually, because if one journal rejects your paper, you go to the other journal. There, the referencing style is Harvard. Earlier, you have done it with the APA, so you have to manually edit it. So that's a wastage of your precious time. So use the reference management softwares. They are great softwares. They will help you a lot. Finally, to summarize everything what we have understood, fine. So what you actually do is critically assess your work. Critically assess your work. See, whether you have actually worked in a specific area. Did you provide a clear research problem? You worked on that. Your research problem actually tells you why it is important, why people need to read it. You define it very clearly in your paper. You thoroughly studied it. You analyzed it. What are the problems you addressed? You emphasized on them. Fine. You provided them the evidence, the support, the statistical test, or theoretical support that your results are robust. Your results are robust. The paper includes the description of how and why the particular evidence is collected. How your data is collected, you have defined it very carefully. From where you collected, you have mentioned the sources. What is the sample duration? Very clearly. How you clean the data. How you finally arrive at, this specific model, structure model maybe. You have defined it very clearly there. Fine. You have made the paper in a proper, organized manner, proper paragraphs which are talking about a linking thing. So one paragraph is linking to the another paragraph, and it is moving in a specific direction. It is moving in a specific direction. Fine. How your each section is contributed in the discussion section. You have actually considered the counter agreements as well. My study contradict with the results of so and so study. My results converge with the results of so and so studies. Mention it. Many people, many a times, I find that researchers do not mention the studies which actually contradict with their results. Please do not do it, because not all studies can converge with your result. Their sample size is different, their sample period is different. So it is quite a possibility that, your studies contradict with the other studies. Mention it. There is no problem at all. Mention it. But along with mentioning, give the reasoning that why people should look for your results, that your results are, important, your results are relevant, fine, and the earlier ones are you have improved upon. So mention it. Fine. Understand the limitations. Have you presented the limitations of your research and given them the potential need for the future studies? And above all, is it clear, it is accurate, or it is well organized? Clear, accurate, and the well organized. So try to follow this. And one more point to you: if you are not able to assess or find out some weaknesses in your research paper, try to take a help of your friend, your colleague. Fine. Give them your paper, let them read through your paper, and just tell them, please tell me the 5 important points which you understood from my paper, or which keeps on popping up in your mind when you read through my paper. So if those 5 pointers actually addressed what you wanted to do it in your research paper, your work is done. So if the other person is able to see that what this research paper is all about, the editor will be able to see that what a research paper is all about. Fine. So try to take a help of your friends and colleagues. So try to take it. If you are not able to do it yourself, try to take help from them. You will definitely get good results. So thank you very much from my side. So now I am open for the questions. If anybody wants to connect with me, they can connect with me on my LinkedIn profile. It is with Dr. Parul Kumar. So now, anyone with the questions? I am willing to answer.
Ma'am, I can see few hand raises, so I'll
Yeah.
just unmute them one by one
Sure.
and they can ask their doubts. Dr. Onkar, please, you can ask your query. Dr. Onkar, please, you can ask your query. Okay, I'll take another name then. Dr. Neha Goyal.
Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am, you're audible. Please.
Yes. In the starting of the literature review, ma'am said that first identify the journals that which write the same problem you want to write in your research paper.
No, not the problem. I would say put it, narrow it down to a specific scope. The scope, the area, the scope of your research paper. Try to put across because not every paper would be addressing a problem. Fine. So look for the scope. The scope of your paper matches with the scope of the journal.
Okay. First, read the and from where we should go for the Web of Science, Scopus, or which kind of journal we should go.
Ma'am, that is up to you actually, because it totally depends upon you want to go for the Scopus journals or you want to go for the Web of Science journals. That totally depends upon you. That what kind of journals you want to go for. So you want to go for the Scopus journal, there is a Scopus list which is available. You can look for that, find out the journals, or there are various journal selector tools as well, which tomorrow Dr. Neha would be discussing on. So that maybe help you a lot in understanding how you are going to select the journals.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Thanks a lot.
Dr. Onkar. There's some issue. Participants, if you have any query, please raise your hand. You can also mention in the chat box.
There is one question in the chat box which is from Abul Haris. So I would like to say that if there are not many journals are available from the research topic, then what should be done in that case? See, if you are talking about any specific topic which has very limited number of journals, then automatically you have to look for only those specific journals. And then you have to work upon the research areas which would be focusing on. If it is too niche, because usually when you have the topics, many more journals are available with different publishers. We have various publishers actually. Fine, you have IGI, you have Elsewhere, you have Springer, you have Routledge, you have Taylor Francis, Wiley. So many have similar kind of the journals which have same scope. So it is very I would say limited. I say area which may not be having the journals. Otherwise, you will find not many journals. So see what is their ranking. To what level you want to go for Q2 level, Q3 level, or Q1 level, and then shortlist a journal.
Okay. Dr. C.S. Balasubramaniam, please ask your query.
Yes. Can I unmute? Yeah. See, many times we have to look at the contemporary topics. rather than conventional topics. So how can you guide me on contemporary topics?
See, sir, that is a very broad term you have used.
Hmm,
Fine.
no, no.
If you can, little narrow it down, then it will be great.
No, for instance, in the current period, there are some COVID is been often repeated, but something specific that we want to do in terms of your own team.
You can. It is not like that only, you have to work on a broader area. You can work on a very niche area. I have seen the papers, let's suppose there are few papers which are talking about the medical images. I have seen the paper.
Yeah.
They have worked into specific area of the medical images only.
Mm.
So it is not that you have taken the whole area together. You can work on a niche area, and the more the area it is, you will be able to find a better research gap, because broader areas generally do not have good research gaps. They have been researched too much. When you go into deeper of a specific
Yeah,
thing, you
that is
definitely
what.
ends up
Yeah,
getting a
yeah.
more better
That is what
understanding.
I was trying to indicate. Yeah, thank you.
Dr. Anshul Agarwal, please ask your query.
Yes, ma'am. Actually, it is mandatory to write a discussion part in paper, or we can write a discussions, or whether you are saying ki what a contradictory and similar report. Can we write these things in conclusion part?
No, never. Conclusion is just conclusion. You are not pinpointing any observations. You are not pinpointing anything. You are only concluding what you have done. Discussion is, I have find out this result. Now, why this result is important, why the earlier studies have not found this result, or my results, compare with that result, that is discussion. And if you add a discussion section, all the good journals, best journals only take the papers when they have a discussion section. If you do not have a discussion section, the paper is not considered of good quality, because that means that you are not able to understand how your present results match or mismatch with the existing studies. You are not able to relate them. So you should add a discussion section.
Okay, ma'am. One more question, ma'am. How to do pair trading? I know this question is not related to today's session, but I need to know how to do pair trading, ma'am.
How to do
Pair trading.
peer trading?
Pair trading.
I didn't understand. Pair
Ma'am,
trading is what?
pair trading. Long and short position in same time.
Oh, that's a different thing. See, that's a different thing. That's a financial perspective. I think this is not a right place to discuss that.
Yes, ma'am. But I need to know. Actually, this is the second objective of my thesis work. So I want to apply pair trading in my research.
In that case, I would say that you should actually read the literature with respect to the financial data. Then you will be able to understand, what kind of a trading perspective it is working on, what kind of a theory it is, efficient market hypothesis theory you would be applying on, or another thing you are applying on. So look for that. This is actually would not be a right platform to discuss that.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Dr. Madhurika Singh, please ask your query.
Are not audible. Can you be a bit louder? See, that is why, along with every subsection I explained you, it is not that the research paper is written fully in the past tense. No, every section has a different way of writing. So that is why I explained you with every section, what you have done, what you are doing. So in that ways, you have to change the language. It is not the one language for the whole research paper. LR has the combination of past perfect, present perfect, then results present many a times it is past as well. So it depends upon the section you are writing. Never use one language for your whole research paper. No. See, again, thematic papers are working on a specific theme. They are talking about the theoretical distribution. So their whole paper is actually, literature review. When you are writing the empirical papers, literature review is the most important part. Even when you are writing the review paper is all about the literature review only. And when you are writing an empirical paper, which you must be writing maybe, so without literature review, your paper will not be accepted. Sorry? Ma'am, that means that you are not using a proper source to find your papers. Please find your papers from the Web of Science papers, from the Scopus papers. Please read the quality papers. Do not read the papers which are published anywhere. If you are doing your research, read the quality papers. There you will find the literature review. Maybe they will be with the heading of theoretical background, maybe with the heading of the review of the studies, or maybe with the heading of the literature review, but never a paper with the literature review. That means you are not reading a good paper. Again, on what basis you are doing the experiment? There has to be some basis. So there will be a different heading. There will be a theoretical background or hypothesis development phase. There they have mentioned the literature.
Next is Mohammed Haq. Sir, please ask your question.
Can we use citation in abstract?
Can you?
Can we use citation in
No.
abstract?
No, never use the citations in the abstracts. Abstracts are a pure explanation of what has been done. What you have taken from somebody else's, or on the basis of somebody else you have conducted a research, do not put it into the abstract. Abstract should never have the citations.
Then if we use any any theory, how we will discuss in the abstract?
If you are
Like,
using any,
theory, like
so you just mentioned that you have used this kind of a theory, or the research paper is based on this theory. Explanation comes into your research paper. There you have given the citation to that theory, but not in the citation, or not in the abstract, sorry. In the
Okay,
paper,
thank
you
you.
must have given the citation to the theory.
Thank you.
Dr. Shubham, please ask your question.
Good evening, ma'am. Ma'am, I want to ask a question regarding the downloading of the paper. Generally, as we know that ABDC journals are most reputed journals. So I have got the list of those journals. So is there any particular platform to get the downloading of those journals, ma'am?
See, many universities have the databases of the Wiley's, Elsewhere, Web of Sciences, and the Scopus as well. So if your university has subscribed to that, you can download it from there, or you can go to simple Web of Science. Many of the papers are freely available from the Web of Science, so you can look for that. Fine. Otherwise, a simple Google search, if I say, you can download it from there. Or you can take the help of your friends if you are unable to find some paper. Give a link, give a DOI to your friend who may be having an access. So with the help of the DOI, they will be able to download it.
Ma'am, sometimes we face a problem that regarding the plagiarism, I want to ask one question that sometimes we face the problem that we are having a five group of words that we have to use number of times. Generally, I am from a finance domain. So in finance, we have the words financial contagion and volatility spillover. So whenever I quote this word n number of times, so it increases the number of plagiarism percentage in my paper, ma'am. How I tackle this?
If you are using these two words, it is not like that. It will increase the, I would say plagiarism. I am from the finance area only. Fine. So it never increased my plagiarism because it will come into less than 1% category. Fine. And you have the other things as well. So focus on the plagiarized things which are more than 1%. If you are checking it with the Turnitin, focus on which are the more than 1%. These two words will not give you too much of the issue. Don't worry about it. Because some statements you cannot change, and this is not only in the finance, in the marketing, HR also, there are few terms which you cannot change. They should be written in that way, so you will be using it in. If you are using a word motivation, so I cannot change the word motivation. It is human resource, it will be human resource. Fine. What should I write for the human resource? The resources which comes from the human. Okay, I'll write it one way. But again, in the other sentence, I'm going to use human resource. So don't worry about the two words. Never two words create a problem. Always plagiarism is with respect to the sentences. So when it is a fully copied sentence or the sentence has only one or two different words, rest is a whole copied sentence, plagiarism comes there. So focus on the plagiarism when it is greater than 1%. Focus on those parts.
Ma'am, generally it is stated that for plagiarism, 5 were taken by the Quillbit. In this way, these
Why
5
you are
words.
working with the Quillbit? Why you are not going for the Turnitin, sir? Turnitin
Ma'am,
is the
I have
best tool.
I have checked through the Turnitin Axis of Institute also, but it was saying 35%. I don't know how it
No,
was come.
35%. There is a full report coming. Check for the report which is telling you greater than 1%. Remove those greater than 1%. Automatically, your paper will be fine. I
Ma'am,
never
thereafter,
bothered about the two statements. My thesis has volatility n number of times. Yet my thesis has only 10% of the plagiarism. It
Yeah,
has
ma'am.
been with the returns, financial markets, financial, NSE, BSE, but no plan.
But thereafter, I have uploaded that document in Grammarly and showing that your document is 100% original. Grammarly premium version.
Grammarly, no, Grammarly, I would not recommend that, sir. It is better
Okay.
for the plagiarism. It is, you should go for your Turnitin, sir.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Dr. Dipali, please ask your query.
Yes, my question to ma'am is, what is the difference between referencing and citation?
Ma'am, that will be answered tomorrow. Because tomorrow you will be talking about the journal selection. So I better not answer it today. Or simply I will tell you that, you asked me referencing and the bibliography, right? Is it referencing and bibliography, right?
Dr. Dipali?
Yes, ma'am.
So see, referencing is whatever you have taken consideration into your research paper or thesis, you quote them, you cited them actually, that is references. The things you have read, but you have not actually cited in your paper, that is bibliography, which is not cited in the paper, but you have taken a cue, you have read it, fine, but you didn't cite that thing in your paper. That is not with respect to citing, you actually didn't use it, but you understood the concept maybe from that. Right? But you didn't use it while
Yes,
writing.
yes.
That is a bibliography. Bibliography is a bigger version. References is actually what you cited, you are putting it there.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Yes.
Dr. Bhardwaj, please ask your query.
Ma'am, regarding ma'am, if I have a research idea, how to check whether it is already used by someone around the world? Like, is there any particular tool using which we can check?
What thing you want to check, sir?
Ma'am, if I have some research idea, how to check whether it is already been researched somewhere?
The literature review. Use the synonyms of the things you want to go forward with. Use the synonyms and then search the literature. What is the existing literature review with respect to that? Let's suppose you decide to do the financial literacy level with respect to the women in India. So search financial literacy plus women, financial literacy plus women plus India. You will come across literacy, financial knowledge. You will come across the literature which is existing, and you will understand whether that idea has already been taken or it is available for you.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Dr. Priya, please ask your query.
मैम आई आजकल वन प्लेगरिज्म चेकर के ऐप कौन से बेस्ट होंगे जैसे कि मैम जैसे टर्टिन वगैरह से जो और सॉफ्टवेयर वगैरह हैं तो उसमें क्या डिफरेंस है
Plagiarism software, the difference in the plagiarism software you are asking?
यस मैम
See, every software has a different kind of a database. Turnitin has the biggest database with respect to the reference checking. So that is why the journals, as well as everywhere it is being preferred, Urkun still has not much access to all the things. Fine. So that is why Urkun comes less as compared to the Turnitin. And there are others as well, but they are not fully robust.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
All the query have been answered.
Turnip, the free version or paid version?
Sorry?
Turnip is a free version or a
Turnitin is a
paid
paid one. Turnitin is paid one.
paid one? Yeah. Okay.
Ma'am, all the queries have been answered. So shall we conclude the session?
Sure.
Thank you, Ms. Parul Kumar, for answering all the questions and for the great presentation. It was a pleasure to have you with us. And so this concludes the workshop day 1. And thank you all the participants. We hope you have learned and enjoyed the session. And if there's any query, please feel free to mail us back. And we'll see you tomorrow for the day 2 of the FTP as per the shared time. And thank you. Have a nice evening.